third big tool that we're looking at is government procurement. Again, where the government is the one that is purchasing the goods. So if you look in the United States, just the federal government alone, $700 billion in government purchases. So if all of those purchases or of green goods, a requirement that the good can only have a small amount of greenhouse gases, that it has to be green steel or green aluminum or green cement, you've really moved the needle because now you've created a huge demand, a big market for green goods, which is then going to create all of the incentives for the cement companies, the steel companies, the fertilizer companies to actually create these green goods because they know there's going to be this very big demand for those green goods. So you're creating an incentive to do that.
I'm David Symonds. I work for a company called WSP. We work a lot with governments and the private sector on using their purchasing power to influence carbon and other outcomes. And this is important because government spends a lot of money on things each year. The UK last year spent around about £1.2 trillion. That's about £17,000 each. And that is going on things like, of course, healthcare. It's going on defence. It's going on education. And it goes in two ways. First of all, it goes in things like social security payments, that pensions and childcare allowance. But also a lot of that goes on stuff, which is things like building new hospitals, maintaining roads, and also the consumables like drugs and pills that we get through the health service as well. They're also large organisations, so government itself also buys a lot of things for its own direct operations, vehicles, and the like. And of course, it buys energy and the like to run its offices as well. So all of that spending can have a huge role if we just think about the UK in supporting the UK economy and supporting less well-off areas, encouraging innovation, providing incentives and innovation for low carbon. And of course, trade and where government buys that from is also a really, really important factor in that buying decision process as well. There's three main influence that government has. And I'll just talk briefly about each of these. But overall, first of all, there is a what does government buy that is a starting point. Secondly, then once it's decided what it wants to buy, then what it writes in the specification that it then goes out to the market. And then the third piece is once government has got its tenders back in, then how they decide between suppliers. That's a very quick overview. Of course, trade is a big element of when the UK spends its money. Does it buy that from UK suppliers or does that buy that from overseas? If it buys that from overseas, that could be great because there may not be a UK manufacturer of a low carbon product. And of course, also if a low carbon product, let's say, for example, electric vehicles, it might very well be that they are cheaper and better made overseas. If they're cheaper and made and better overseas, then government might say, "We'll buy from those." And that actually gives us more money to be able to use that money for other things. And that's probably some of the principles of World Trade Organization and the like that you will have maybe heard in other presentations. That's a very quick whistle stop. I hope that's been useful, and I'll really look forward to seeing your recommendations and outcomes from your deliberation. Thank you.